Donald Trump goes on the Patrick Bet David podcast. He answers all questions. Nothing is scripted. Nothing is given to him beforehand. This is what real leadership looks like and sounds like. Thank God Patrick didn't have Adam Sosnick on the show so he could ask Trump dumb questions and try to be confrontational. This is part one. It's too long for me to just play the whole video. I'm going to break this down about 15 minutes for each part. Let's jump right into the video.
In my opinion, he is the only trifecta we've ever had in the history of America. Let me tell you why I call him a trifecta. We've only had one person who's won in business and became the king of New York, became a billionaire. That's one. Two, he won in media. Number one show, Apprentice, 15 years in a row. Three, he becomes a president. So he won in business, he won in media, he won in politics. Again, there's never been a person who's done that. Like I said with you.
Got to stop it real quick. All the Trump haters with Trump delusion syndrome or Trump derangement syndrome, whatever you want to call it, they'll say, well, he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. No, he wasn't. Trump's father became a millionaire selling paint out of the back of his car, and he started in Mexico. He gave Donald Trump a loan for $1 million, and Trump turned that money into an empire. 99.9% of Americans on the planet, if you gave them $1 million, they'd buy a house they couldn't afford, they'd buy 6 cars, and be broke in 6 months. Trump is a winner. He wins in every single thing he does.
Love him or hate him, you have to respect him. Mr. President, it's great to have you.
That was a nice introduction.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You are a one of one.
Yeah, let's end the show right now.
Okay, so I want to get right into it. I got a lot of questions I want to ask you. Some of it's personal, some of it's business, some of it's politics. But something happened last week. Barack Obama, he's at this event, he's speaking.
Right.
And he's given this message about your economy, how great the economy was. And then at the end of it, he says, you didn't build that economy. I built this. I kind of want to get your reaction on this talk that he's given. Rob, if you can put that up.
And the reason some people think, well, I don't know, I remember that economy when he first came in being pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good because it was my economy.
Sure it was.
We had 75 straight months of job growth that I handed over to him. It wasn't something he did. Right. I had spent 8 years cleaning up the mess that the Republicans had left me the last time. So just in case everybody has a hazy memory, he didn't do nothing except those big tax cuts.
Right.
So how do you feel about this when you see him saying this last week?
I think he's angry. He pretends not to be, but I think he's an angry guy. He's a nasty guy. He's got a little bit of an edge, and he's angry about a lot of things. You look at what happened with Biden, and you look at what he did with Biden. He really hurt Biden because...
So let's break that down for a minute. According to Lord Obama, the great divider, nobody in this country has ever done anything or built anything but Lord Barry Soetoro. And you hear Barack say this all the time. You didn't build that. Technically, yeah, I did, Barry. But according to Lord Obama, he's the only human being in the history of the world that has built anything. Barack Obama couldn't run a hot dog stand.
I'm not sure he wouldn't have imploded anyway. We had the debate and he was down quite a bit and they walked out and they just took it away from him. I mean, if you think about it, they stole the election from a sitting president. That's, I always say coup, but the word coup, I don't think it's accurate enough. They just walked in and took it away from him. That is a legendary thing. He didn't want to give up. He's angry now. They're all angry, the Democrats, if you think. She's angry. They're both angry. But no, I watched that last week, and I think he spoke down to black men. I thought it was terrible the way he spoke to them.
You think it's effective? You think he still carries the same stick as he did, maybe 8 years ago or 12 years ago?
No, I don't think it is. No, I don't think he does. I think people have gotten smart.
I don't know when Barry ever carried the stick, because if you did any research into Barack Obama and what he actually is as far as a communist and how him and his entire family hate this country, if you took any time to research Barry Soetoro, a.k.a. Barack Obama, you would know you shouldn't have voted for him.
And no, I don't believe he does at all. I hadn't seen him. He's changed a lot. Visually, he's changed. I like to say visually as opposed to from the look standpoint, because, of course, looks don't matter anymore in politics, you know? You say looks don't matter. It doesn't make any difference, right? Because we want to be politically correct, but they do matter. But he's changed. His look has changed, actually, quite a bit. I haven't seen him in a long time.
And by the way, Rob, I think that's even 4 years ago. I think it's even more than
yeah,
it is
yeah.
today.
Well, no, but the statement he just made was a couple of days ago. And that
it was a couple of days ago. And it's similar to the statement he made back in 2012 when he told
Barack Obama is the first black American to ever be president of the United States. And instead of, when he became president, saying, this is the greatest country in the world where you can accomplish anything. Look at me. I'm a living example. He got up there and he said how everything needs to change. The system is flawed. F America. This person owes this person this. Barack Obama is responsible for setting race relations back like 75 years. We have never had so much turmoil in this country till we had Barack Obama. Everybody will blame Trump for... Democrats will blame Trump for that type of turmoil. No, that started under Barack Obama.
Business owners, you didn't build that. Remember when he said that? I don't know if you remember that whole comment. I think this is the speech, Rob, if you want to play this.
Yeah, you didn't build that.
You got a business. That you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
So this becomes a pattern.
So let me get this straight. If you built your own business, according to Barry Soetoro, Barack Obama, you didn't build that. Somebody else built that. Shut the F up, Barry. If you want to live in a communist country, get the hell out of America.
A pattern of
communism.
You see a pattern of communism there?
No, I mean, that's basically the view. You know, we didn't do anything.
Right.
Government did it.
There you go.
Somebody did it, but anybody but us.
Do you think this works with the undecided voter? Do you think the undecided voter that's...
Yeah, let that sink in. According to Barry Soetoro, Barack Obama, Donald Trump really didn't build any of his businesses. Somebody else built that. Right.
In our audience, they're entrepreneurs, they're small business owners, they're family, they have kids, they want to win, they got dreams, they want to do something. Do you think a message like that from him lands on the business owner, on the undecided voter, on the person that says, you know what, I think he's right, I'm going to go vote for him? Do you think it works?
I think you don't have that many undecided voters. I think by now you have very strong Trump voters. I don't think you have strong Democrat voters, but I don't think you have strong Kamala voters. What's to vote for? I mean, take a look. She can't do an interview. Has she been in here to do an interview?
No, not yet.
I don't think you'll see her. You know,
She's claiming she's going to go on Rogan.
Well, that'll be interesting. So am I.
I heard.
But I think I am. I don't know. I think so. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens today with Brett.
Speaking of the clown Joe Rogan, hey, Joe, they try to take Trump's life. He's been unfairly prosecuted. They go after his children. They do all these things to literally kill Donald Trump. Democrats do everything to stop this man. Nobody's saying that you have to endorse Trump, Rogan. You can't just have him on your show and let him tell his side of the story. You're all about freedom, right, Rogan? Let's have a good laugh, and you're super liberal, but you're acting like a communist. You won't let the president of the United States on your show just to tell his version of events. Right, Rogan. Why'd you leave California again? Oh, that's right, because the Democrats and their insane policies, and you moved to Texas of all places, but you don't want to have Trump on your show.
Bear. You know, Brett's two people. He can be very nice, or he can be himself.
He was tough on you. If he's tough on her the way he was tough on you, he was very tough on you.
He was always nasty to me. And
right.
I don't think he'll be tough on her. I don't think he'll be. Fox is a very disappointing thing. During the day, Fox is just terrible. And but
I want to show something with this. When you look at this whole Barack Obama thing, I think the one thing they don't show, you were talking yesterday, I think it was the Bloomberg event, which, by the way, I loved.
Yeah.
I love the way you handled the whole Paris conversation. That was a great event.
I got hoodwinked to go on that. You know, I was supposed to make a speech in front of the Chicago Economic Club, which is a big deal, you know, which is a very prestigious place, beautiful. Everything was beautiful. And all of a sudden, I understand I'm being interviewed by this gentleman. And he's got a reputation for being about Oh, I'd love to see him do Kamala. He should do Kamala. That would be beautiful. But he's a tough cookie, and he's the chairman of Bloomberg. He's a big. So all of a sudden, I'm being interviewed, and I wasn't happy about it because I found out that he is, his reputation precedes him. And but I decided to do it. You have a choice: walk out and don't do it and have a scandal, or go in and do it and hopefully win, or you go in and do it and you get killed, which is probably the worst. But it was a great interview, actually. And he was nasty, but he wasn't overly nasty to me. I mean, other people thought he was. I thought nastier was David Muir when he kept interrupting me during the debate and saying false things. Like when I said crime is way up, and he said, no, crime is down. I said, you're wrong about that. Crime is up. And then 2 days later, it came out that crime is up.
Right.
I mean, to me, that was much nastier than...
David Muir should never be able to work in television. Again, journalism. He's not a journalist. He's an activist communist.
This gentleman, but it was really a study of business. It was a detailed study of business.
You're talking about with the Bloomberg one?
With the Bloomberg,
Right.
and people loved it.
I agree. The tariff one. And the one thing I wanted to show is the following. So you know how you talked about Jerome Powell, what an easy job. You come once a month and he said, we're going to increase the rates.
Greatest job there is.
I think this is the one thing they don't talk about. So Barack Obama got elected November 4th. Okay, quantitative easing started November 26th.
Right,
And it stayed for 8 years until you got elected.
right,
So if you look at that low, pretty much 0% interest rate,
right.
and then you get elected, right? If you go to January 2016, Rob, for the audience to see that. And then from there, one by one, rates are going up. And then Biden comes in, goes back down to zero to try to save the economy. And then, the rest is obviously history.
Right.
But do you think the average person knows, like, the impact of going to 0%? How much does that positively help the impact when Fed lowers the rates to 0.5 point?
Yeah, it has a huge impact. The power of the Fed is, I think, pretty strong. Some people disagree with it. They think it's overridden by the interest rate climate. But I think the power of the Fed is very strong. It's an interesting graph, actually.
Yeah, this just shows that the rates didn't help you. When he says it was...
Well, they didn't use them to help me.
Right.
And Powell, I gave him a hard time because he was raising them. And I was never a big fan of his. He was late and he was early. He was too early and too late, But I had the greatest economy in history. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. Despite that, this is another thing I can say, despite the fact that they weren't very high, but they were, reasonably high. And despite the rates not being at zero, I had a pretty good, we had a great run.
Following up on the Barack Obama question, when I think about the 2024 election, I saw some numbers that came out, which I thought was fascinating.
Right.
Rob, if you can pull this up from CNN. So this is CNN reporting on this just 2 days ago. Okay, Barack Obama, when it comes down to black men ages 18 to 44, he was up 81 points in November of 2012. Hillary was up 63 when she went against you.
Yeah.
Biden was up 53. Kamala, who is apparently black, she's up 41. And
what do you mean by apparently?
I mean, that's what...
I don't know how, as a young black man, you think Hillary Clinton's for you. Bill Clinton has a black son who Hillary won't even let the son in the house to meet Bill. Right? Oh, let me guess. She went on High 97 and pulled the hot sauce out of her pocketbook. That wasn't all planned and act. It's just, the Clintons are absolutely disgusting. And if you don't believe me about Bill's son, just look it up. It's all over the place. All you got to do is research.
What they're telling us. We're supposed to believe she's black.
No,
and
it's much better than, no. See, I would never say a thing like that. But just say, don't explain to what you mean. No, I don't want to put you in trouble.
Yeah, apparently.
No.
Well,
I was going to throw it onto your shoulders, apparently. Well, no, you could explain it because I understand.
I'm very comfortable explaining it because overnight, she's doing a show. She's supposed to be Indian. And then all of a sudden now it's black, but it's not landing with the average American. So if you look
and
at
do you
this,
think black men, that's why she's not doing well?
Well, watch this.
Some people say that.
In 2016, you had 13%
right.
of male black voters 18
Right.
to 44.
Right.
In 2020, you had 18%. In 2024, you're at 26%. It's doubled in 8 years. The question I'm asking you is the following. Back in 1960,
Right.
64% of African Americans would vote Democrat.
Right.
The other was pretty much conservative. African Americans have historically been very conservative.
Okay.
Barry Goldwater, the issue happens, 1964.
Right.
It goes from 64% Democrat to 92%. And it's been between 85 to 92% since 1964, right? You've come in and you've shaken things up. Do you think 2024 is going to be one of those moments where African-American men, they're like, listen, I'm sick and tired of Democrats feeling like they own me. I think I'm going to go to the other side. Do you think 2024 could be one of those years that we look back and say they lost the African-American vote?
They really lost it for a while, the Republicans. I mean, it started, I guess, with Barry Goldwater, if you look at the charts. But I did criminal justice reform. That's a big thing. They've been trying to get it. You know, I saw a guy named Van Jones. He's I don't think anybody knows who he is. He's a commentator for CNN.
Fake news.
And he came to see me in the White House, and he was crying.
I remember that.
He was crying because I bring these things up because it's a lack of, I don't know, there's something about loyalty. You help somebody with something. He came in with a fairly large group of people, mostly black people, and he was devastated because criminal justice reform wasn't going to happen. Obama didn't do it, and didn't even come close. Bush didn't try. Nobody was going to do it. And I'm the only one that could have done it.
There you go.
And he was with a group of people that was, they were begging to do it. They were 5 votes short. And they had to be conservative votes because there was nobody else left, right? And I guess you needed the 61 or 60-something, maybe 66, but 61 is a hard vote. And he made a plea to me, Van Jones, total sleazebag. He made a plea to me to help him and help this group of people. And they explained how for years they've been trying to get it, and they've been unable to get it. And I said, well, let's take a look at it. And I studied it for a little while and spoke to them. And I said, you know what? I'm going to help you. It's going to help the black people in particular. And I'm going to get it for you guys. And I called up 5 very conservative senators. And I'll never forget one of the senators who was in charge of it. He was literally leading the charge against it. And I mean, his whole career was this. He was going to stop criminal justice reform. Not because he was, anti-black, just he didn't like it. He didn't want it. And he was in the papers every day. He's fighting it, winning very easily. And I helped him get elected. Without me, he wouldn't have gotten elected. I'll never forget it. I called him up. Now, he's in the heat of passion. He is fighting this all the way. Not something he would ever give up. You couldn't, there's some things you can't. I call him up. He gets on the phone. I didn't say a word. I said, hello. And he goes, I'm giving it to you. I said, what are you giving me? I'm giving you criminal justice reform. That's why you're calling, right? I said, it is why I'm calling. He said, you got me elected. I disagree with you, but I'm giving it to you just like that. I said, that's one of the coolest things I've ever heard, because I also have the opposite where I got a lot of people elected. When I endorse somebody in history, and I don't want to brag, but in history, you can get another chart on that one. I mean, I'm like 289 and almost nothing for endorsements. And he said, you got me elected. I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for you. And I did, but I got a lot of people elected, and some of them forget. And I said, that's the coolest thing. I said, thank you. I said, do you mind if I call a couple of the, nope, you do whatever you want. Now, this is a guy who was the leader of the fight. I didn't even ask. He knew what I was calling for because he knew that I was going to help Van Jones, this Van Jones guy. I was going to help him. And you'll understand why I'm being nasty to him now, because what happened later is disgraceful. So I said, thank you very much, Senator. I'm so happy that I did help you. I think loyalty is a great thing. And that was it. So I had his vote. I then called 4 other guys, all of whom were against it. And I said, I'd love to have. And they, they don't do it for a lot of presidents, but they do it for me. And I got them 5 votes that they needed, and criminal justice reform passed, right? Then, and I was happy for them. I was happy for everybody. Everybody was happy. They couldn't believe they got it done. And it was something that really the black population wanted far more than anybody else. I've never even heard it mentioned with other people. It was mostly the black population. And they've been fighting it for like, what, you'd say 40, 50 years, right?
64.
So we got
40,
it done.
50 years, yeah.
Yeah. So I got it done. I got something done. I got a lot of things done that nobody else could have gotten done. So what happens is Van Jones and all, they called for a news conference that night. The vote was taken. They got it done. And I said to my wife, come on over here. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful thing to watch. Watch this. This gentleman was in my office a number of weeks ago, and he needed votes, and I got it done. It'll be nice to watch somebody really say something nice about your husband. I said that to Melania, and I said, watch this. And they got up and they spoke, but Van Jones got up, and it was a little, I don't get too embarrassed. He got up, he thanked this one, he thanked that one, he thanked this one, that one, that one. The only one he didn't thank was Donald Trump. And I look at that sleaze bag now and I say, he's got bad way. I looked at him. Then I saw him last night, and he was on CNN, which is dying, by the way, in the ratings, because they have people like him on.
That's right.
And I watched him last night say how he hopes I'll be defeated. And we should defeat him. We have to fight him. He shouldn't be allowed to be. And I said, normally I'd say I wish I had that vote back, but I did the right thing.
Why do I think he praised you? Why do I think he got emotional crying, giving you credit about what you did?
I don't know. All I can tell you is he was crying in my office. That's probably what you heard. Before he got it, he was crying. He was literally, they went over to him with handkerchiefs. He was crying. Tears were pouring down his eyes before, but after he wasn't crying, not that I know. But so he didn't mention me the night of the news conference. He was leading the news conference.
A lying, cheating, stealing, narcissist, over-dramatic Democrat/liberal. Who would have thought? One more thing, an outstanding thing that Donald Trump did, the greatest American to ever live. In the 80s, early 90s, when the banks were being racist as hell, they wouldn't give black business owners loans. Trump was well known in the rap community, business owners also down in Atlanta. Black business owners were being told, go see Trump. Trump would give those black business owners loans. And then when the black business owners would go to pay back the loan, Trump would take the check, rip it up, throw it in the garbage. If you don't believe me, Judge Joe Brown talks about it. Just YouTube the video. It'll come up. Trump is the greatest American to ever live.
And I don't need it. I get mentioned plenty of times, et cetera, et cetera. But I watched last night. It's a good place to say this, actually. It's better than writing out a truth, whatever. But I watched last night, and I watched him talk about how I must be defeated. I'm a bad guy or something. And
Van Jones is saying this.
Yeah. He said it last night. I saw him last night. I don't watch CNN. Honestly, I don't watch it. But I happen to be, I'm passing it, and I see him on, and I watched him talking about essentially negative about me. What difference does it make? Nobody cares what they do. They've been fighting me for years, and I became president. I did much better the second time than I did the first, and now I'm doing it the third time. And if the election's not rigged, we're going to win. If it is rigged, I guess that's a different story, but we'll find out pretty soon. But I watched this guy last night against me, even if he was a little against me, but he wasn't. He was like, we have to defeat Trump. We have to defeat him. And I've watched him a little bit over the years, and every time I watch him, I say, what a sleazebag he is, what a bad guy. But I did it for black people. I did it for, it was purely the only people that told me about criminal justice reform were African Americans, that's all. And I did it for them. I also did historically black colleges and universities, and I got them financing. I would see the heads of colleges come down after 2 years. They would come to Washington, like 45, 50 people, a group. They'd always come in, a big group. And I got to know them a little bit because they had to come through my office to get funding. And after the second time, I said to him, "Why do you keep coming down here for funding? Don't they give you?" He said, "No, they make us feel like beggars." That was the term. And a couple of them I got really frustrated. Some of them I still see a little bit. And I said, "What does that mean?" He said, "Every year we come down for funding for the black colleges and universities. And they play a great role, a very important role, in my opinion." So I said, "So you mean every year you come down?" "We do. We come down together and we go and see senators and congressmen and we try seeing a president." But I got to know him and I said, "This is no way to live where you come down." And I ended up getting them more money than they even wanted. And I got it done, and I got it long term. And I said, "Fellas, I just got this done for you, and I want to tell you a little secret. I'm unhappy about it." They said, "Why?" I said, "Because I'll probably never see you again. You'll never come down to Washington to see me." And I meant it actually in a friendly way because I got used to seeing them. They were always coming down looking for money. I took care of their needs long term, more money than they wanted. I said, "You're going to need more money than that." And I got it for them. And I think that's why black men really like me. And I think black women do too. But they have a woman who is black, although you would say she's Indian, but she is black. But she really, a lot of people didn't know, which is true. But
I learned about it just a couple months ago. Maybe, the fact
that she's black,
yeah.
or that she's Indian.
The fact that she's black, I thought she was Indian until a couple months ago. Things change.
A lot of people. Well,
because if you follow baseball, Sammy Sosa kind of, you sometimes have to respect people. They change, right? So I thought maybe she was doing a Sammy Sosa the other way.
Yeah, Sammy's changed.
Right.
People change.
If you remember Sammy Sosa,
he could hit the ball.
He could hit the ball 66 home runs.
Seriously, he was.
But I want to show you this. And by the way, the only reason I want to show you this is because I think Van Jones is scared of giving you credit. This is what Van Jones said after what you did. And it was the most uncomfortable moment on CNN because he had to thank you. If you can play this clip, Rob, I think this is the clip. Go for it.
How significant do you think this is? By the way, one of your partners in working on this was Jared Kushner.
Jared Kushner, who's
This is how many years ago? This is
the date on this 5 years ago, December 18th, 2018.
Okay, play this
So
clip.
you just got that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so this is 6 years ago. If you can play this clip.
father went to prison and who fought on this as hard as that. This is history. This is history. Right now, you're witnessing history on the floor of the U.S. Senate. Where there's a Christmas miracle underway where, for the first time in a generation, Republicans and Democrats are arm in arm tonight saying, we are sending too many people to prison. They're coming out bitter and not better. We want to make a tremendous difference. I want to say Hakeem Jeffries on the left, Jared.
This is my question to Van Jones and every Democrat and every liberal that has a mental disorder. If people commit crime, that's where you're supposed to go, prison. And the only thing that deters criminals is prison. I love criminals, right? They do all disrespect everybody, have no respect for nothing. There's these big tough guys, but then when it's time to see the judge, the tears and the fireworks and it's poor me. Well, so according to Democrats, if you commit crime, we should just let you do whatever you want. Oh, keep doing it. Right.
Kushner and Donald Trump on the right have brought together a coalition like I've never seen.
He gave you credit.
Literally, the National Association of Manufacturers, Fox News,
I never saw
and
that
Sean
one.
Hannity
Yeah, I'm
on
glad
the
you've
same
seen it
page with
because
Nancy
to me, you see, when I think about him, obviously, his history. He was close to Obama, communist, all that stuff. He had to kind of drop. But at the same time, they don't want him saying something like this. I want to give Hakeem Jeffries, Jared, and you to give that credit. This is the part where even Dems are sitting there saying, how the hell do we argue against the fact that a Republican president that we're not supposed to like did this? Cut him off. Just give him 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Let's go to the next topic to bash him again. But it was kind of great to see Van Jones saying this about you.
It was, but again...
All right, I'm going to stop it right here. It's been 26 minutes already, probably a little bit longer because of my editing and my commentary. Trump is the greatest American to ever live. He's a winner. No matter what he does, he wins. Trump is the only answer. Trump forever. 2024. Let's go, Trump.